to start off, we'll let you know a little bit about it.
Welcome to RetroWare TV.
Welcome back, everybody. This time on the show, we're talking about Motor Toon Grand Prix on the PlayStation. Motor Toon is first and foremost a Mario Kart clone. It may not be as blatant as games like Crash Team Racing or Konami Crazy Racers, but there's no denying that it borrows heavily from Nintendo's racing giant. But there are a couple of things here that make this game more interesting than your average Mario Kart clone. But before we get into all of that, let's take a look at the game's history a bit. The backstory for Motor Toon is a bit confusing, so stick with me on this one. The game released as Motor Toon Grand Prix in the US is actually Motor Toon Grand Prix 2. The first game never left Japan, and as such they couldn't just name the game Motor Toon 2, or else it would confuse people. Usually I would say that this is lame, or that they should have renamed it with some sort of subtitle or something to avoid confusion, but the first game is very similar to the second, so it's more like an upgrade than an all-new game. Since that's the case, I don't really feel the need to go in-depth on the first game. Let's just say that the games are similar, but the second is an improvement and leave it at that. The other thing that makes this game special is that it was made by Polyphony Digital, the same guys who went on to create the Gran Turismo series. Motor Toon predates Gran Turismo, but it still has a lot of what made that game so popular, like tight controls and great tracks. However, since it did come out before Gran Turismo, and it was by an unknown studio at the time, most people passed over this game. Polyphony tried to rectify this by selling it as part of a 2-pack with the original Gran Turismo in Europe, which I'm sure helped a little, but Motor Toon wasn't selling 10 million units like Gran Turismo, so it's easy to see why they stuck with that instead. Despite all of that though, Motor Toon is an amazing game, so let's take a look at what made it so great. Unlike Polyphony's more popular series, Motor Toon throws out any hint of realism or simulation and instead goes for a more cartoony vibe. This is great because it allows the game to have crazier physics and over-the-top levels while still retaining the tight control the studio is known for. One of my favorite things about Motor Toon is the music. Back when this game came out, the PlayStation was still pretty new and CD-based racing games were mostly using licensed music over original compositions, but Motor Toon kept its all-original music, and it was better for it. I don't think there's really any licensed music that would have fit here, but they could have easily gone the Donkey Konga route and added a bunch of public domain classical pieces if they wanted to, but instead, we're treated to a whimsical and lighthearted soundtrack that perfectly captures the feeling of the game. Now, I mentioned earlier that this game is very similar to Mario Kart, in particular Mario Kart 64, but this game was actually released a few months before that game. That doesn't mean that they didn't copy the idea of taking Mario Kart into full 3D, it just means that at the time they hadn't seen Mario Kart 64, so the striking similarities are more from common ideas rather than straight-out thievery. Still, there's no denying that the Haunted Mansion and Rainbow Road look-alike levels are straight copies, and a majority of the power-ups are very copycat as well. The one place they really change things, however, is in the character design. In Mario Kart, every character looks and plays fairly similarly. Yes, some have higher top speeds and some have better acceleration, but the overall look and feel of the karts is pretty similar. Motor Toon's vehicles, on the other hand, are all about as different as can be. I mean, the vehicles in this game range from a spaceship, to a chick on a motorcycle, all the way up to a full-on train. It's kinda wacky, but it also sort of works for the game. The actual racing itself is also very much in the vein of Mario Kart. The one exception being that this game always starts you in last place, similar to how Ridge Racer works, so you really have to work your way past the others in order to make it to first place. This is both a blessing and a curse. On easy and normal, it's super fun, and it makes the game exciting like Mario Kart, but without the rubber band AI, so if you get the lead, you can really keep it. On the downside though, the later difficulties handicap you by not letting you use any weapons, so getting from last to first pretty much demands the perfect race. That usually wouldn't bother me since I'd just play on normal and enjoy the game, but some of the content in the game is unlocked by beating each difficulty, so making the later two difficulties so hard makes it so only extremely dedicated players will be able to enjoy the entire game, which seems counterintuitive to the game's overall look and feel of being friendly to anyone. In the end, Motor Toon Grand Prix has some great qualities. Great art, an awesome soundtrack, and perfect controls all make the game a joy to play. In my opinion, this is one of the best racing games on the PlayStation and well worth spending some time with. But just be aware that the later difficulty levels can be devastatingly hard. That being said, Motor Toon is a great Mario Kart alternative for those that have played that series to death, and I highly recommend you check it out. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Double Jump.